Welcome to the very first episode of Digilize Lab by Digilize Agency. With the three of us, we want to have a spot where we chat about the latest news and the most hot topics and also see what is hype and what not. Let's jump right into it in our very first episode. So what's the number one thing of the week?
The number one you're asking. I would say there's a couple of good topics to talk about, but I would say the biggest one, the most kind of known one, of course, new AI models always changes the game. I would jump in actually with GPT 5.4.
They dropped this week?
Exactly. I think last week, this week, I'm not too sure, but quite recently. And I would say biggest change is still the context window. So finally they caught up with the competitors and brought in the 1 million context window, which just, in simple words, enables it to remember more and to stay in the context and in the conversation for longer periods. And that changes the game for not only people using it directly.
How much context window had 5.3? Didn't they also release that 4 weeks ago?
I'm not
Their
too sure.
Their development cycle gets faster and faster. It's crazy.
Yeah. They have to. I mean, the competition is hella fast, to be honest. But no, you could be right. I have to look it up. But that's, I would say, in my opinion, the biggest change. But what's also really cool, it's now basically has like a native style of agentic capabilities and working. Pretty similar to the new Quen model, which you probably know more than I do about, but we're going to get into that later. But yeah, that's my biggest topic. What do you guys think about it?
I mean, there are a lot of models released in the past month or something like that, I would say. And Codex was with a 5.3 and the 5.4. Not even I can keep up with all of those new models.
Yeah.
But OpenAI is pretty good, but like you said, the context window, I assumed that they would have focused on that way earlier, but
same. I don't know.
What do you think might be the bottleneck? Why didn't they do it earlier? You say compute?
No.
I don't
think so. If OpenAI has something, then it's compute.
They have the capacity, yeah.
It is probably just the model architecture, because if you increase the context window, then you have to think a lot about the actual model architecture and how it remembers, because the model gets worse and worse with the more context it has. That's why you always should clean out your context and start a new chat if you want to do something new. So that means that bottleneck to actually do a proper architecture that is available for you to scale up your models and give them more tokens.
Makes sense.
That is.
And I think, to be honest, it could actually be that they just didn't see the reason until now, because they weren't really focusing on the coding space. There was more of
with Codex.
Exactly, and that's, I think, where context window really excels. But no, I think that's the main topic. And now that they brought in Codex, I guess they kind of felt the pressure to catch up.
Maybe just for someone who's not familiar, what is Codex?
I think you know best, but
Codex is one of the many CLIs. CLI, what was it again?
It's like a terminal tool, like a tool you can run in a terminal, I would say.
Yeah, what was the abbreviation? Command line interface. Yeah. Sorry, that was too long for me. It is basically one of those CLIs that is an agentic helper for you to program, to code, or basically to do anything. Because, Claude Code is the biggest or the well-known one, I would say. But Codex and Claude Code are in the architecture relatively similar. And they're basically just a multi-agent architecture that helps you to code.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Super nice.
Yeah, and especially in those agentic kind of workflows, the new models perfectly made for them, because they were trained on, unlimited, basically. I don't know how many hours, but way too many hours of actual people using their PC, making screenshots, like basically what actual real-world examples would look like. And what they advertise it as is basically that they are natively agentic. And the best one in that sense is Quen. But
I really dislike that natively agentic. I don't know.
That's the advertising, at least.
Yeah,
of course it's not.
It is just
in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all math, but yeah, that's how they say.
And it just tells you how good the model can use tools.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, very true. But it
that
feels
is one of
at
those
least
buzzwords.
It feels a bit more agentic. But yeah.
I just got a ticker notification. It's a new topic, but Apple is set to release their foldable phone in the summer.
Oh,
just got the
officially,
ticker.
or is
Yes,
it myth?
it's leaked. It's leaked.
Oh, okay.
It's about as big as the iPad Mini.
Wait. First of all, which way can I fold it? That way or that way?
Of course, the designs aren't leaked, but
okay.
what I can tell you is it adds an iPad-style multitasking, including side-by-side apps and redesigning layouts for key first-party apps. And it's about to cost over 2K.
Yeah, expected.
To
be honest, that makes a lot of sense looking back at how they improved and how they focused iPad OS in the past years and how they kind of improved it to a way that it nearly becomes a laptop.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see how Apple is still very lenient to their lagger strategy of being always, not the first mover necessarily, but also with AI.
Yeah. They wait until it's
where's
ripe.
Apple? Like Tim Cook, where's the fucking update, man? I would like to have some useful AI on my Mac.
Yeah, Apple
by
Intelligence,
now.
I think, is an episode for itself.
We need to get our listeners into what are you talking about? Which update are you?
Yeah, Apple is now. It was supposed, I think, to launch on or be revealed on the 3rd of March, so like a week ago.
Wasn't it supposed to launch 2 years ago, or like 1 year ago?
Yeah,
already?
then eventually
And then
they released Apple
Intelligence,
Intelligence, but Apple Intelligence is not usable, nor is it any useful.
You can rewrite text. Woo.
Yeah, but how?
Basic function
Show me,
2.0 could do.
Show me on the Mac how you do it right now.
Yeah, you have to right click.
If you're a first time user, not usable, non-existing, non-usable. So, yeah, interesting little side ticker there.
It is about time that I don't even want to know how much billions they already put into development of the new Siri and everything. And then you look at Google, for example, which even released models that can do agentic tasks on an iPhone already. And Apple can't do it.
Super interesting. But when you just brought up the spending, there is a really nice chart. I need to check if I can find it, and then we will put it in.
Yeah.
The spending of the tech giants into AI is crazy, and the only tech giant that doesn't spend hundreds of millions of dollars is Apple.
Okay, so
Apple,
maybe
you have the line. Apple is chilling down there with some, I don't know, 10, 20, 50
maybe
million
we
dollars.
could get to our offsite people here. Maybe we could get a rough number there.
Yeah,
it'd be really interesting to know.
I think something about $80 million they are using into the R&D AI.
Nah, it has to be more.
No. That is the crazy part. Because they are waiting, like we just said, they are not the first
80 billion,
movers. But they are just waiting till Google, OpenAI, or someone.
In a number, yeah.
But they just were
and then
to be honest, that's the usual way Apple always did it. They wait until until it's ripe or not, and then they invest into it. But it could actually be that maybe in this sense, in AI in the space, they may be waiting too long.
Either they all outsmarted us and already predicted the moves before we knew where the game is heading, or they're actually laggers.
Yeah,
okay, so the sideline people telling me it's 13 billion around that the Apple invested until now.
Yeah, a little difference to the 80 million.
Pardon, but the number is
compared.
Huge. The difference is huge.
Yeah.
I think Meta, I don't know how many companies they already bought alone in 2026.
I mean, we can
you can just tell us.
Microsoft, Alphabet, and Meta combined have 650 billion.
650
billion. That was Meta, Amazon, and Alphabet. No, that's crazy. Just R&D.
And Microsoft, okay.
And Microsoft just R&D or also
combined on AI infrastructure.
Okay, crazy.
So there's also into data centers. But I also read an article, I think even you sent me that that Apple servers, like AI servers, are running on, like they invested, but they're running on 10% usage right now. And
Yeah,
they're
no,
basically
they don't
sitting
even. They
empty.
don't. They have empty. They don't even have the servers. They have empty data centers.
Empty
like they have
racks. without
empty
compute.
racks, yeah, which are
Oh,
not being
actually.
used. Yes, because Apple Intelligence is not being used. And now they're in talks with Google to use their infrastructure.
I mean,
for
they're
the
also using Google's
revamp.
model,
That's
right?
also why they said it's delayed because they don't have the capacity to like roll it out full time and in a useful
I mean, it's
way.
billions of users. Yeah,
But it's very interesting. I would love to be part of like hearing what they're talking about because it must be huge.
I mean,
numbers
I
they're
did
throwing
read that
around.
they're using Google's model now. They bought into
and that
custom model.
and that includes their infrastructure,
Okay,
their data centers and so on.
makes sense in a way. Yeah. It's also a good deal for Google, I would say. But,
I think the best deal for Google.
probably, but at the same time, it's I mean, maybe a bit embarrassing for Apple that they waited so long to admit that we can't do it ourselves, and now we need to buy into
No
Google.
one remembers that in 10 years.
You're probably right.
Or everyone
right, if they
will
manage to
just do
catch
this.
up. No.
Or that.
Yeah. Or maybe it's a new Nokia. Nokia.
Exactly.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, good old.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
their
that's-
chip infrastructure and so on is insane.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But it's an interesting topic. But let's move to, let's say, the most interesting tools of the week, or let's say this month that we kind of found. I know that I think Sebastian has always
I have a lot.
always a good source for tools. So you
yeah,
can start if you want
let's
to.
start with a nerdy one.
Oh, go ahead.
Andrew Carnegie, I think he is
From
pronounced.
whom?
The godfather of AI for me.
Yes.
Tesla
yes.
head, and then
Ah, yeah.
OpenAI founder,
No, I
co-founder.
Yeah.
He released, I think it was last week, Friday or something, a
Yeah.
repo. It's not actually a tool,
Mhm.
but it's a repo.
Repository, yeah.
Yeah, called Auto Search.
Okay.
Or no, Auto Search, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's basically an autonomous machine learning researcher that researches new techniques
Okay.
on how to make your model more efficient and trains it overnight. So basically, really stupid.
Wow.
You give the model the end goal that you want, the parameter that it can tweak, the parameter that it needs to increase, send it off to a compute, whatever, GPU or a Mac Mini.
And it trains it on him.
And overnight you see it
Yeah.
trains it, and it goes every time in a loop. If the model got better, nice, we save it in the repo. So it's basically, it creates
It's like A/B testing for.
it creates its own code.
models.
If it is better in the evaluation, nice. Next loop, even more improvement. If not, discard other improvement.
Yeah, that is.
And that
Interesting.
runs.
And that used to be an AI researcher's job.
I mean, it is
Probably a
still,
team
and
of,
people are paying a lot of money
Yeah.
for AI researchers.
but it's open source.
It is open source. The
Interesting.
repo is out
But-
there. I already set it up. I can show you the results later.
Cool.
It is awesome.
But it's interesting to see because, most of the people are like, okay, if you have that type of knowledge, you would know that the AI won't threaten you. But it's interesting to see that even these higher tier
Yeah,
or
even
whatever,
those get
those
threatened.
are
at
already
least,
getting
yeah.
threatened
yeah,
of
Yeah.
fine-tuning a model.
yeah, and
That is
then there's a question. I mean, if Andrew Carnegie does that, and he is one of the most renowned machine learning fine tuner or whatnot.
Yeah.
If he already says, okay, let's make a model
Yeah.
to either save time, make it more efficient, do something else while that, but it's also
But it always needs like a base model, right? You can't like just
Yeah, I mean,
spawn a new model out of nowhere.
no, you need a base model, and it starts here, and you want to increase the output about 50%.
So just
and
to
then
simplify it for the listeners, just like basically what you mean is you take, for example, GPT, whatever, some GPT model, and you want to adapt it to your personal kind of use case. So you give it a lot of data on top of it, and it kind of creates a new model based on top of GPT, but perfectly.
Exactly. The fun part with that repo, though, is it doesn't need to be a model. It doesn't need to be an LLM.
Okay.
You can basically train every algorithm that you want.
Also, even like just Python based.
Exactly.
Wow.
I think it's more about the research question, right?
Yeah, basically it is really
impressive.
stupid. It dissects. You give it a goal in a markdown file. That is the goal it needs to do.
But then it fine tunes the
And
model, which is used to achieve
Impressive.
Every time in that loop, and you can basically improve everything.
definitely the
So
future.
Exactly. So you can do A/B testing on a website and train the model basically on the user conversion rate or email
you have to
opening
show me.
rate.
You have
It
to
is
show me that later. So-
super nice.
But it's a perfect segue also to my next tool, I would say, because it's also automated, and I also sent that to you guys. I think it's basically a way to kind of prove your prompt that you use for an AI model. Basically, what we used recently, but in a way nicer way.
What is it called?
Oh, I have to look it up again, but we can put it in the podcast notes. But it basically, I just came up to my mind, that's why. But it basically, you can check if your prompt is jailbreak proof, and it does it all automatically. What we recently did for one of our clients, and just way more automated.
Okay, crazy.
And it really checks it in detail, doesn't need a lot of tokens to do it, and gives you at the end like an assessment, and it can also improve the prompt as well. So yeah, if you want to have like a production ready prompt for AI systems, I guess this is the way to go, or at least the best way to go. Nothing is safe when it comes to AI prompts. You can always come through, at least nowadays standards.
I just read on the way up here the stairs that Perplexity, they launched their computer 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
Yeah,
3 days ago on
Also one of the
Thursday.
topics,
And they use Claude Code
Tuesday.
under the hood, and Claude Code
Perplexity
Claude Code needs an Anthropic API key. So what did they do? They put that into the session in order that the Claude Code can spawn sub-agents that are using that API code.
Makes sense.
That means someone on Twitter
Found
already
that API code.
jailbroke it. Found that API code, and then he thought, okay, they must need to restrict it on IP basis and stuff like that.
So it's not
because that
restricted,
is a sandbox in Perplexity computer.
Don't tell me it's
he
not.
just plugged the API key into his local Claude Code instance.
worked.
Opus 4.6
Unlimited
unlimited
usage.
given. 2 hours ago.
That's crazy.
2 hours
okay.
ago,
And it's not even released, right? It's just
It
It's
is
just waitlist. Yeah.
only for the
Waitlist.
max
Now we know
plans,
why.
waitlist. Yeah, but
Wow.
I mean that also shows that even
the bigger
even the
companies
biggest
make
one,
these mistakes.
Perplexity is one of the main players up there.
it
So
is.
we're living
Wow.
in the Wild West again. It feels a bit like when the internet was early. I mean, not that we were around by then.
Yeah,
but
no, I mean, everyone is trying to figure it out in a way, and even the bigger ones sometimes they make mistakes as well.
True.
Yeah, I think that's to my next point. Is actually what I think was quite overlooked in Europe and the US. Maybe is just how insane the usage of OpenClaw in China is.
Yeah. Compared to the EU and the US,
I did
it's
some
insane.
additional research. Guess how much traffic? So the overall use
I think
compared
first
to
of
the
all you have to quickly
US?
explain OpenClaw. Like,
Okay, yeah, to our
Just to
users
get into
who
it.
don't have heard, like living under the rock and have not heard about OpenClaw yet.
you could have also heard about molds. What was it called before? You tell me.
Moldbots,
Moldbots.
Claudebot, and now it's OpenClaw since
All the
OpenAI
same.
bought them.
Yes.
Go ahead, sorry.
It's all the same, but they had legal issues, I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell
What-
our viewers or listeners what it is.
Quickly, it's also basically an agent orchestrator, which doesn't do much more than take data, send stuff to the API, and get a response back. But Pete Steinberg did it in a nice way with a heartbeat and some soul, so that OpenClaw feels actually like the next step in direction of
Maybe
API.
to summarize, it could be the first truly agentic
At least it
system.
feels a lot like it, yeah.
I mean, much more what
Yeah.
you've seen before.
Yeah.
So it's much more agentic than everything else.
Yeah, but I saw another tweet about exactly that. It is super fun because cron jobs exist since I don't know when.
Yeah, no,
and
the-
in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
background,
100%.
it
It's
is
The
still not
technology
AGI,
is actually
but-
quite easy once
it
it's
is
put
super
together.
easy, and no one
But
cared about
it
the cron
feels
jobs.
like it. And
Yeah,
it's,
but
it's
now
the
it's
same thing
agentic.
for when AI got released 2022 or something,
Yeah,
when
and
it
I mean,
actually
for-
picked up. Everyone thought it's just magic, but then slowly, when you understood how it works in the background, and then it's just math and one word's predicting the next one, it's not as much magic anymore, you know. And I mean, what was the first AI released in 1960 something? Eliza.
1967, I think they started
roughly around that time. But it also felt
learning.
like it was slower and way less, you know, like the I don't know. It wasn't as optimized, but it still was an AI. It was based on the same mathematical principles, and it worked on a PC that was bigger than this room.
Yeah, their bottleneck was the compute.
Exactly.
And that is solved. That's why we can scale that nicely.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry, proceed.
Anyways, I just want
to use such a China.
Yes.
Yeah.
So China, to take that away, China surpassed the US in total usage of OpenClaw
I can imagine.
by a far. But then I did some additional research. What percentage does all tokens used account on OpenRouter, like Chinese models?
Oh, so basically the models.
What is the percentage of usage of Chinese models on OpenRouter?
Only on OpenRouter.
Only on OpenRouter, and it's kind of the
Chinese
metric.
models.
Yeah.
So like Quen, etc.
Yes.
Quen, Kimi, DeepSeek,
DeepSeek is quite big.
Minimax.
Minimax also quite big.
I saw DeepSeek only on Olama. It has 72 million downloads.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's all different episodes.
Percentage. Let's go.
I say at least 60 or 70%.
I'd give it a 55, 50.
61%.
Yeah.
61%.
Late February, last update.
Yeah.
61%. That is insane, and nobody's talking about it.
That's something
true.
to think about.
Nobody is talking about. Everyone's just Claude there, OpenAI there, Anthropic,
Yeah, that's
whatever,
a
and
Western
Meta
bubble, I
and
guess.
whatever. But nobody's talking. You know, they're smart again. They're very smart.
To be honest, that's
exciting.
really interesting when you look at all of the investments that are being done in the US and all of the different AI models and also the open source models, especially the Chinese ones. They're getting crazy good compared to what the big tech, closed source, OpenAI and Anthropic, what they can deliver.
And I think that is also the reason why they have 61%. I mean,
Probably.
DeepSeek is open source, open weight.
Probably.
The others are open
And that's
source,
how
open
they
weight.
also get the data and can improve further.
Yes.
Exactly, but also everyone can just download that, and
Yeah.
I mean, you see the tech community. They try to play Doom on everything.
Yeah, sure.
So probably they also try to get an AI model onto everything.
Yeah, and that's
So
also
if you open source it, you have more users,
and they're just so incredibly fast. They and cheap, yeah. No,
Okay.
but I mean the company as such.
Are they being
not
subsidized? I didn't look it up if the because obviously the government
I'm
of
not-
China does this smartly.
for sure. I'm sure they are, but I don't have a number on this.
Yeah,
But
no worries.
currently, Shenzhen has subsidies up to 290,000 euros for startups that are using OpenClaw.
Okay, that's a way
They're
to
So smart.
boost usage as well. Yeah.
And the average range, so they just recently launched this on 13 different major tech companies in China launched it, so Tencent and all the big ones.
Okay, so also WeChat, etc.
Alibaba,
Yeah, that is
ByteDance, Xiaomi, whatever.
But wait, did we have now the number of how many?
61%.
No, that was the Chinese models on OpenRouter. How
Yes.
many people use OpenClaw in China?
Oh, they had within
That
the
is.
24 hours. I just have the one. Tencent Cloud had 100,000 users alone, just on OpenClaw.
Only on Tencent. Okay.
And
Wow.
there was such a frenzy about it that
Even I
around
read about it.
1,000 people gathered in front of the Tencent HQ and waited to get their ClawBot set up.
Oh,
for them.
actually.
Their Chinese version of it, yet.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is the age range was between 9 years old and 70 plus. So
That's-
everything in
wow.
between
That is
was
crazy
there.
In Europe, you
stats.
first of all have to find someone that is above, I would say, 60, 70 that would know about CloudBot and even be interested in it.
And resellers
It's too complicated still here to
currently
use.
you have to pay 3 to 40 euros to get it set up by a reseller. So they're very
So
smart about it.
you go to the store
Yeah.
and they set it up for
So
you.
for all elderly
That's a way to
people-
break that age barrier, to
Yes,
be honest.
Yes.
We should, yeah. Why
And
not?
one
Super
of the
smart,
main
yeah.
reasons for older people showing up that were interviewed was the fear of being left out or left behind.
Fair enough.
And that's super interesting because I do feel like there's a lot of people who have that fear here,
but they don't.
but
do
they're not
anything.
as proactive as
No,
over there.
definitely not.
But
No.
I mean, is it proactive? They got a awesome
in a way
offer from the Chinese government to, or not basically, not,
government
No, but
is
they-
not
acting
an offer,
proactively.
but no, but do you see something here where companies set up OpenClaw for you? No, but so they I feel like there are a lot of people. I agree with you on that one. That here are a lot of people that are maybe having the fear of missing out. But the problem is that here's not that offering here yet. I would say.
Yeah, but
In
there's not
USA,
even that
there's more.
consciousness, in my
it's the
opinion.
consciousness,
Yeah,
but
but-
I guess I think it's mainly about the government just acting proactively. They started doing those subsidies. They encourage the companies to
But they
kind
also
of bring
just
it to the market as quickly
100%,
as possible.
but
and
that's
the companies
also-
are great in that in China. I mean, look at the electric car market.
100%.
There's also a crazy history. Sometimes maybe too fast if you then look at some outcomes, but that's also a different episode.
True.
But yeah,
I just thought that was very interesting to see,
it is.
and I'm very eager to see how that plays out in the near future.
Yeah,
because
we got to
Yeah.
keep an eye on that one.
for
most
real,
actually.
for real.
Maybe we can find out how the comparison is actually to different continents for next episode.
Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Surely. Yeah, no, but really interesting stuff. The one thing I really do want to get into, because I'm personally interested in it, and I just learned about it yesterday, is still Quen. He knows way more than I do, as I said, but I learned what I know is that Quen released the Quen 3.5, so like the next kind of generation of their models.
Also, agentic model.
That was my thing, yeah, because they at least advertise it again as an agentic native model. I tested it yesterday and today, so not for a long time, but what I saw is it's not the best at tool calls, at least not in small quantization. So maybe you still do, because they advertise it that it runs on really like even phones. So like that a model can run on really, really, bad compute or really low quality compute. But I don't know what the performance is then. So
I mean, first of all, it's really interesting how to see how those Chinese model makers then lay it out again.
Yeah.
They're not trying to compete with OpenAI or
And
Anthropic
that's-
and go
yeah,
for the
yeah.
main model, but rather have the shotgun approach and release. I think they released 12 or 15 different models
I don't even have an
in
overview.
different
And
quantization. in
That's
order-
again how extremely smart, and I feel like they're so strategic about everything.
They gain way more market share from that shotgun approach because they have
I mean,
now
look
a
at the
model for-
61% on open
yeah, they have now a model that can be used on a phone. They have a model that is
Yeah.
used on a MacBook.
And Google is
that
trying to tap into
And they're
that as well.
using it already in China.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it's actually working. So and I mean, you saw with OpenClaw the adoption rate, or with OpenRouter, how many Chinese models actually get used here
Yeah.
or in
Yeah.
general. And that
It's
is
true.
how they can actually nicely gain more market share without competing with those big labs, because Anthropic and OpenAI have 10 times more money than.
Yeah, but I don't
those
think
people.
they're even competing with them. I just had a thought about it. If you look at OpenAI and Anthropic, they didn't release any models in that sense that are specialized for mobile phones. That are
No, but
specialized
that is
for
because
only
they are going
big
for the big
consumer
star
base.
AGI.
Exactly. But why isn't it, why is it that Google, for example, releases Gamma, like the family of Gamma models, which is, by the way, small models.
I think 9 billion
that-
parameters.
Exactly, that are still smart enough to run tools and actions on your phone, for example. So now there's already, if you want to try, there's an app in the App Store and Play Store called Google Agent Garden, I think. And you can literally run it on your iPhone and set it up to do tool calls for you. You can talk to it and say, turn on my flashlight, or open this in this app and do this and this in it. And I played around with it and it actually works. And that's, of course, very simple. And it's from Google, not from Apple, and it works on iPhones. But basically, that's the beginning of what the new Siri should feel like, that you can talk to it and it can do multi-step tasks actually on your phone. And Google achieved that before actually Apple even tried to achieve it in a way. And that's... I would call it embarrassing, to be honest, but
Tim, we're coming for you if you if you don't deliver in summer.
I believe so.
Mark our words.
No, it's actually really interesting that the bigger ones at Anthropic. Do you have an idea why? Like they're going for AGI.
They are going for AGI, and because the first company that achieves AGI wins.
But do you think they would even release the news? I don't think so. They would keep it secretly. Or
now we're going more into the
that's
ethics
politics
and
as well.
Politics,
yeah. That's probably a whole
schema,
episode.
Not technical, but
you're right.
I think that they first of all wouldn't release it out of or it depends who invents AGI. If it's Anthropic, I have a better feeling that they are communicating that openly. If it's OpenAI, you know how they are doing for the past few years. But in theory, whoever achieves AGI first can use AGI to make as much money as possible without even anyone else in the world knowing, because there's what they say, it has such a big knowledge gap between the humans and then the compute actually, or the LLM. So they are actually going through money like OpenAI in order to achieve that AGI model. But then there are other model makers like then Quen that are thinking about more strategic ways to gain the market, and then the shotgun approach. But there is also the Mistral and all of that. But
it's really interesting because I recently read a book about, it's called, I think, Humans in the World of AI or something. But
by who?
Basically, I have to, it's at home, but next episode I can talk about it more. But no, it was also about a small company that figured out how to build an AGI. And then it didn't tell anyone, but they used it to basically build a lot of different business streams, and like a movie company, which they did like animated.
You told me about this book before.
Exactly. They just, like, many different business streams, but they didn't tell anyone, and they really hit their paths, and they actually on purpose made mistakes in between so that it doesn't look like someone got AGI, and made a shit ton of money with it before it came out that it was basically AGI, and then it all broke down. But
I mean, it is the same if you have a 100% guaranteed trick on how to win against your friend in poker. Then it's a money making machine. Of course, you don't tell your friend because then he knows, and then he spreads it and bleep blah blah.
True, but
AGI
I
still needs to
would
learn.
argue that AGI is a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah, of course. But
I think also the government is. I think it's not just going to be a money-making scheme in that sense. I think
not only
the government.
it depends who
if I was the
it
government, I would have huge interest in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it depends
taking
who
control
figures
of
it
that.
out.
100%.
If it's OpenAI or like a company that would tell the government, and then of course it would be regular. Like, different story.
I think it's also not a coincidence that
it's
now the drama with OpenAI and Anthropic, and then
the Pentagon.
The Pentagon banning Anthropic because they said, okay, we don't want our tools to be used for mass surveillance or kill decisions.
I mean, it was the automated, I mean, that's a whole nother politics topic, but there was, like, the border for them was automated decisions on weapons. So basically...
And mass surveillance, yeah.
Exactly.
Those were
so
the two things they don't...
They actually said themselves that they think the technology is not ready yet to automatically and autonomously decide if a weapon gets fired or not. And I personally agree in that because, but of course then I also don't know which models, because the Claude model that the Pentagon used is a whole different league, also on compute power, than the ones that we get and that hallucinate. So different topic, but also a big one, definitely.
Quickly also for the people that don't know what AGI is, it's basically the
general
name,
artificial intelligence.
Basically what it means, intelligence that is smarter than us humans.
Yeah, and that can also learn kind of for itself and improve itself, and therefore is kind of unlimited in the
kind of an artificial god, so to speak.
In a way, but it needs to learn, so it still needs the data from us, from the past, whatever, 100 years, or 50, whatever, since we're gathering data. So it's still
true, but that I would also argue that once it's actually, I mean, it's going to be so much smart, like AGI being so much smarter, then it's kind of like out of our league, like what we think makes sense probably can be just twisted by it.
It could be.
But should we say we're doing a separate episode about AGI, because that is a
100%.
I think there were a lot of topics in here that we kind of started talking about.
But
something I wanted to touch on, because it's kind of going in the way with Anthropic and so on. Do you guys remember that maybe you saw the news with Switzerland ruling out Palantir, the use of Palantir?
Germany as well, no?
Mm-hmm.
On
government, like a country-wide level?
The Bundeslevel. What is it called in English?
I think it's like
the federal
level. Yeah.
Yeah, on the federal level, they're planning to ban it. Let's see how the lobbying goes, but yeah. Interesting enough, they yesterday announced that they're having a partnership now with NVIDIA, and they're gonna have the full Palantir stack. So Gotham and all the everything for governments.
I think you have to quickly introduce Palantir, what they do. It's also a
if
topic
you
for itself,
most people say it's a data company.
At its core, it is.
Yeah, I would say it's much more than that.
Yeah.
Can I give a better? I mean, it's quite broad, so.
I would say they use data in a defense space, like they're the biggest player, mainly in defense and governmental kind of
and
space.
Commercial,
So they're also some like them, some don't. They're pretty controversial, but their main kind of products focus on data usage for governments, and that they can have a better overview if it comes to defense or if it comes to just government.
Although their revenue streams are now, the commercial side is even bigger than the governmental side.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I heard that also Germany, I think, wants to kind of ban the usage, but it's all not.
Yeah, but that's
in the books
exactly
yet.
what they launched. They launched with NVIDIA a Blackwell Ultra, like their infrastructure from NVIDIA, and the full Palantir stock for governments, so that you can. Nothing leaves your system. Also,
so like a private kind of.
Yes. So exactly what they're scared of. They want to. Yeah, I don't know if you want to believe it or not.
That's what I'm just saying. Like, I don't think Palantir, because they need the data.
But it is. They claim it's a sovereign AI operating system.
Okay.
And no data leaves the infrastructure, and they're clearly aiming at governments and defense.
Of course.
Especially
European ones, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was quite interesting.
Interesting topic.
It is interesting. Let's see what the future brings. If it's actually going to be, completely private, because as I said, Palantir is quite controversial. But yeah, also an interesting topic. Well. Do you guys have anything else for this episode, or do we want to pack the rest in the coming future really interesting episodes?
I do have one little hot take.
Go ahead.
Ooh.
Hot take is also one of our categories. We try to bring each episode to you. AI is going to make everyone a founder.
Could. That's the hot take. That's the whole.
That's it.
I think it makes it easier. I think you still have to want it. Like, not everyone wants to be a founder. Not everyone wants to be in that, area of, because it's still work. But it makes it a lot easier.
The old idea of having, like starting a business was kind of like about the capital and the team.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, also the idea, but let's put that aside. And now the new barrier is more like the quality of the idea.
The execution.
Yeah. Yeah, the execution, but also the problem you're solving.
I think the difference nowadays is the most important point is you need to have an idea. You need to have an idea that is market ready, or you can definitely validate it also with AI. But the steps from idea to actual product or whatever you want to achieve is way shorter. It's way easier. You can learn if you want to. You can learn nearly everything that you want to learn. You can avoid a lot of mistakes that previous people did by just informing yourself using AI. So it's not like it's not.
I think there are two big parts to that. First of all, AI made it even easier to gather information.
Oh, surely.
That is one part, and then also at least for me, the biggest part is also you can iterate way faster. You can build one POC, throw it away tomorrow, and build 3 more in the next week.
Yeah, and also other technologies improve that even further. If you want like a physical product, you get a 3D printer.
It is.
You can print your first MVP or POC, whatever, and it's done in an hour or 2, and then you see, oh, this is wrong.
If you want to build
you fix it and you print it again.
right now is best time.
It was never easy.
Sure.
I recently had that thought when I was on holiday that like in humanity's lifetime, basically, in I don't know how many million of years, there's never been a better kind of time to live if you want to build something, if you want to start something, if you want to do your own thing.
Yeah, but that's
because you can.
Also what I was trying to achieve with my hot take is maybe we're in the shift of actually, not being employed anymore.
Yeah.
But in 5 years or so, that it's actually the norm to not be employed and having your own business. Or some type of free, maybe
like
not your own business, but some
kind of way.
I don't think it's
I think we will see a big change in that kind of sense with AI. How that is gonna be looking in the future, I think no one knows, but interesting times.
Yeah, I think
one of if not the biggest question, and we just asked in the podcast, so I think that's also a different
I think also the bottleneck now shifts from can I build it to is it worth building, or is the quality enough?
It is.
Yeah, because everyone can catch up so quick if the quality is not.
It is also important to sometimes, like I see a lot of companies that start out in stealth mode, which basically means that they're not sharing their idea and what they're building until it's really ready to go to market, because otherwise different people, they hear it, they build it, it's done. And then you're done. You can start a new idea. So yeah, even friends recently, we were at the company, they started out in stealth as well. And now they came out, and I think it's one of the, I have no idea why I never thought of it.
Yeah,
it's
shout
one
out.
of the biggest ideas we can actually. It's they're called Nano. And they kind of want to build a digital native back office. And really they have everything in there, like from starting a company to bookkeeping to legal issues, and I think even more, all in one platform. And that whole space didn't get renewed in ages. And it was
or never.
About time.
Probably never.
Yeah, it was about time to renew Exact Online, all of these tools that no one really wants to use. And not even the legal or bookkeepers that work there, they don't even want to use it. So yeah, about time. Congrats to them. I hope it works out, but seems like they had a good launch, and yeah.
For sure.
That's my shout out.
Nice, but I think that was with a hot take. We shall round it up.
Yeah, that wraps it up quite well. We hope you guys enjoyed our first kind of trial episode of our podcast, Digilize Lab. Of course, we aim to improve in the future, obviously, and we have a lot of interesting topics, I think, to go for.
Yes, so long story short, be patient and give us some room to grow, I guess.
Of course. And feel free to give feedback if you'd like.
And keep building.
Also a good one.